So let's talk about storage in a smart contract, or a state, whatever you want to call it. If you don't store any data in a contract, it's usually a rather boring contract. Only when we store data can we explore exciting new applications. This is when the magic happens. So here you can see a small contract just storing a number. We declare state variables at the top of the contract. And just like functions, they can be private or public. Not external though. When a state variable is private, you can only read or write it from a function in the current contract. So either you read it with something like getNumber or write it with setNumber. If on the other hand it's public, then Solidity auto-generates this view function here for us. So this saves you a bit of extra code to write if you want people to be able to easily read this number here. Or if you want other contracts to be able to read this number value. And you can also declare most types as constant or immutable. In this case, you cannot later change the value of this variable anymore, and it saves you a bit of gas. A good practice here is writing the variable in all uppercase. So it's more obvious that this is an immutable or constant variable. The only difference between constant and immutable is that constant variables have to be known at compile time, and immutable variables can be assigned, but only one time when the contract is created. Okay, so let's see this in action. Here we have a contract with a private, a public, a constant, and an immutable variable. And then we also have a function to set and read the private and public number. But obviously we cannot have the function to set the constant or immutable variable because they cannot be changed later. So now let's just deploy this to the local JavaScript virtual machine. And as expected, as you can see here, the constant and immutable variable are just what we set here originally. And now let's set the value for the private and public variables. Okay, now you see here the private number is what we set as the value, and the public number as well. And as expected, you also have this public number function that is automatically generated, which is just identical to this. So you don't actually have to write this get public number, and it is 14 as expected here as well.